My sister slapped my daughter hard in front of everyone, screaming, "Like mother, like daughter, both are completely useless wastes of space and air." She laughed loudly while everyone watched in approval. My dad smirked cruelly and said, "Well, she desperately needed to learn some shame and respect for her betters." Mom added viciously, "Some worthless children just need much harsher lessons to understand their place." Uncle agreed, "Discipline builds character in pathetic, useless kids like her." Aunt chimed in, "Finally someone's teaching these brats some manners." Cousin laughed, "About time someone put them both in their place." But they didn't know the event microphone was on and broadcasting everything lived to 500 distinguished guests. What I did next turned their lives into living hell. My name is Maya, and this is the story of how my toxic family's cruelty backfired spectacularly, turning their own words into the ammunition that would obliterate their carefully constructed reputations. The whole nightmare began when my sister Brooke announced she was throwing a massive 40th birthday party for herself. Not just any party, she wanted to rent the grand ballroom at the Riverside Convention Center, the kind of place where senators hold fundraisers and tech moguls announce IPOs. Brooke had always been the golden child, the one who married a successful investment banker named Caleb, lived in a sprawling mansion in the hills, and made sure everyone knew exactly how superior her life was compared to mine. "It's going to be absolutely perfect," Brooke gushed during our monthly family dinner, her diamond bracelet catching the light as she gestured dramatically. 500 guests, including Caleb's entire client list. Some of the most influential people in the state will be there. The mayor, 3 congressmen, that tech billionaire Preston Caldwell, and half the judges from the county courthouse. My mother Irene practically glowed with pride. "Oh honey, that sounds magnificent. You've really made something of yourself." Then came the inevitable comparison. "Unlike some people," my father Kevin added with a pointed look in my direction, "who can barely afford to pay rent on that tiny apartment." I bit my tongue, as I'd learned to do over the years. They weren't wrong about my financial situation. As a single mother working as a freelance graphic designer, money was always tight. My daughter Zoe and I lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment across town, and I drove a 10-year-old Honda that made concerning noises when I started it. But we were happy, and Zoe was the brightest, most wonderful 8-year-old in the world. "Maya should definitely come," Brooke said with false sweetness. "It'll be good for her to see how successful people live. Maybe it'll motivate her to finally do something with her pathetic life." My uncle Clayton laughed at that, and my aunt Eleanor nodded approvingly. My cousin Grant, Brooke's partner in cruelty since childhood, smirked from across the table. This was how it always went. They'd invite me to events specifically so they could humiliate me in front of others, using me as a cautionary tale of what happens when you don't live up to the family's impossible standards. "Zoe should come too," my mother added. "She needs to see what she could achieve if she applies herself, unlike her mother." Zoe, who had been quietly coloring at the kids' table, looked up with confusion. At 8 years old, she didn't fully understand the constant